Hey guys, what's up? So I wanted to come and just have a vulnerable conversation with you guys. Why does it look so yellow on the screen? Hold on. Let it adjust. It's not adjusting. Hey you guys, what's up? Like I said, you guys want to come have this conversation with you guys because I asked a question in my Facebook group, and which if you have not joined, you should if you are a small business owner and looking to build your brand around your business. So I asked this question, and I'll put the link down below to the Facebook group, but I asked the question, what do you believe you have to do or have to be in order to be successful on YouTube? And somebody said be vulnerable. And so we dove, like a lot of people said be vulnerable, and we dove really, really deep into kind of the root of one, why they thought that, two, what was maybe keeping them back from being vulnerable. And I brought this up, I wanted to make this video because I hear this being talked about, this being like a barrier so much, is being able to be vulnerable. And I was talking to one lady and she was saying, she's a private person, and which is why she struggles with being vulnerable on camera, because she doesn't want all her business out there, which is totally understandable. So wanted to come and just talk to you guys really about this topic, because I think it's something that's really, really interesting, and it's something that just has to be talked about. And I know being vulnerable on camera isn't the easiest thing, simply because you're literally like, y'all, the concept, and I talk about this all the time, the concept is just so weird. I'm sitting in my room by myself, well, my dog's here, but by myself talking to a camera lens. And on the flip side of this, as you guys are watching this, you guys are seeing it through your device, whether that's your computer or your phone or whatever you're looking at it through. But you're watching this, so that's what I'm trying to say is, like, whenever I'm recording, I have to remember that there's somebody on the other end of this lens, though they're not here with me right now, that's going to be impacted by this content or by this video. So that's why it's just an interesting concept. So that's the first things first. But again, wanted to just talk about this because it's something that is necessary within your business. Within your using video within your business, is being vulnerable on camera. People relate to vulnerability. People relate to people, and we all have struggles. We all go through things. We all have highs and we all have lows. And that's not saying being vulnerable, you have to share all your lows and all your highs. No, like, you can share how you've gotten there. You can share like frustrations. You can share sadness and stuff like that. But anyway, let's kind of like get into the things that I was gonna just bring up overall within this topic, because this is definitely something that was very hard for me. So yeah. So hey you guys, if you're new here, hello, my name is Andrea, and I'm a visual branding coach who teaches you how to build your brand around your current business using the power of YouTube. So that is what I do. So be sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, so you guys don't miss an upload. And when we go live, which is on Wednesdays, and then I post on Tuesdays and Fridays now, new change within my content calendar. So yeah. So if I'm being real, like, being vulnerable in person was weird. Let's just be real. Being vulnerable with people around me was something that I really struggled with for a very long time. I don't know if you guys know this, but kind of like a quick backstory, and I'll get into it in a video that I have stewing up soon. I lost my mom and my dad when I was 13 years old. They both passed away. And my mom, she had cancer since I was little, and so it was like I was trying to be her stronghold. Not her stronghold, that sounds bad. I was trying to be her strong person, her person who was there for her, and like, still gonna not cry, and strong, and like optimistic about things for her. And I think within that, I've carried that mindset of not letting people in various different aspects of my life. And so really, it's been a tough thing trying to get over that and being vulnerable on camera. So if this is you, I feel you, and I have been where you are. And in some areas, I'm still where you are. So that's why we're talking about this today overall. But yeah, so being vulnerable in person with people that I even know used to be really, really hard for me. So let alone doing it in front of the world, for the entire online world and just the world in general to see, it's difficult, especially if you're talking about something sensitive. You're probably like, listen, like, I don't want everybody in my business. Like, I don't want everybody's opinions and all this other stuff. And so I totally get that. And it's definitely something I had to work through too. So something that I've learned that makes this better over time is just practice. So whether that's opening up to your family and friends, whether that's opening up to your people online, like you got to start somewhere. And I was talking to this one lady as well. I don't want to mention any names or anything, but I was talking to a lady in my Facebook group, and she was saying the things that she wanted to share on YouTube are things that her family has never even heard, or some of her closest friends have never heard. So my first step for her was kind of break that barrier and allow them in, because that's gonna that's like freedom. You know what I mean? Like, because I was there too. I felt like I couldn't be myself. I feel like I had to put on this facade. I was like, that's just not me. And so eventually I just had to break down that wall and break that shell. And it's not easy. So I'm definitely not saying any of this is easy, but I am saying it's worth it within your business and within your video content to be vulnerable. People are going to connect with you whenever you are vulnerable and whenever you are open, and they can see you're a human and not this perfect person online that has no issues. Nobody, like, that's not realistic, okay? So you gotta be vulnerable. There is a level of vulnerability that has to happen. So the quicker you learn it, the better off you'll be. And I was saying, for me, it took me a very long time to be able to be vulnerable to the point where, and we'll talk about too, like the whole privacy thing, because it doesn't mean you have to air out all your stuff online. I still want you guys to be safe and be as private as you can, with also being vulnerable too. So yeah. So my challenge for you is, one, if there's something that you want to be vulnerable about that you haven't talked to your family or friends about, talk to them first. And the real challenge is to, in your next YouTube video, I want you to share your story with us. Share your story and connect it to your niche, just like how I just did, how I told you guys a part of me and the reason why I struggle with being vulnerable, but I connected it back to what this video topic is, which is within my niche. So I want you guys to kind of use that same strategy that I used as well, but I want you guys to really use that to tap into that vulnerable area and get real and honest and open. You guys, whenever we open up, other people can open up. So we're doing it. If you can't do it for you, do it for us, because somebody out here needs to hear what you have to say. And if you keep that held in, you're not serving your audience to the best of your ability if you cannot be vulnerable on camera and be vulnerable just within your people overall. So okay, so then the next thing is, like I said before, we come back to about like being a private person, not wanting, certain parts of your life out there. Let me tell you, that is totally understandable, and you don't have to have all that out there, you guys. I don't have certain parts of my life out here because, one, I like to have that level of privacy, you know what I mean? Like you got to, I personally think, but then there's also a level of being vulnerable too, like being like totally closed off and then being too open. So there's a lot of that, but you of course want to stay safe. Like, I wouldn't post like the location of my job or, certain things too. So you don't want to be so out there where anybody can come find you at any moment. Like, that's just not safe and how we roll around here. But then also just even privacy areas. If you don't want your relationship on camera, then just don't put it on camera. You can talk about your boyfriend or talk about your husband or talk about your wife or your girlfriend or whoever that may be, but you don't have to necessarily put them on camera in general, okay? But people are gonna be invested in your life, okay? But it's your job to really control how much they are invested. But the more you open up, the better it is, really. But like I said before, you don't have to have every single aspect on camera. So for example, some of these people that I watch, a lot of people say, putting, like, you've probably seen, let's be real, you've probably seen a lot of YouTube couples break up and have issues, and a lot of them say it's because we didn't keep enough private. We didn't keep enough to ourselves, and everything was literally laid out on the camera for you guys. So I think a good balance of that is something that they also said too, was they never used to show their kid acting out because they didn't want the opinions of thousands and millions of people. You know what I mean? So they didn't show their kids anything that would embarrass their kid whenever they got older. They did not show on camera. So that's a good way to keep that privacy aspect, but then also to still be vulnerable. And you can still show your child on camera, but then not show anything that would damage their image or not, they wouldn't be proud of whenever they got older. So that's just a really good example, I guess, to say too. But for us, it's like you can pick an area where you're like, no, this is mine and this is something that's gonna stay, offline, because I wanna guard it, and that's okay. You can totally do that. But I just wanted to let you guys know that your story is the part that really matters. Your personality, who you are as a person, like that is gonna come forth, and there's a level of vulnerability that it's going to take practice, it's going to take time, but that just kind of has to come out in your content in order for it to be really, really good and for people to actually connect with you overall. So just remember that people connect with people. People don't connect with brands. They don't connect with businesses. They don't connect with companies. They don't connect with products. They connect with people. So if you can show your personality on camera, then you got to do it. And if you can be open on camera, you being open like frees somebody else. It allows them to be open too. So again, if you cannot do it for you, do it for us. Do it for the person who needs to hear your message behind what you do, because that matters, you guys. Being open and vulnerable and sharing your story really, really does matter within your content overall. Now, that's not me saying you have to share it every single time, but I am saying the level of vulnerability that I'm talking about is letting people in. You guys are literally in my room with me where I sleep at night. You guys know my boyfriend. You've seen him in different videos that I've been in, but we don't share certain things about our relationship on camera either. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that nice balance. Like, you know who he is, you know what he looks like, you know his personality, but there's some things we don't share on camera. And that's just a nice level of that balance between, you know, that private life and keeping certain things like, you know, locked. But then also sharing like the part of me, because a part of me is him because he's my boyfriend, obviously. And a part of me is my dog, obviously. And so there's just, think of things that are a part of you that your audience would connect with, you know, like, so yeah. And of course, just remember that practice makes perfect with this thing. It's not easy. First and foremost, it's not easy to even, so something else I will say just really quick before I forget is to really like assess the reasoning behind why you feel like you cannot be vulnerable on camera or not be vulnerable, period. Is because you are afraid of what people are gonna think. You're afraid of internet trolls. You're afraid of people's opinions, which all of those are valid concerns, you know what I mean? Like valid things, but those are things we gotta shake. And again, they're with time, obviously, but we don't want to be so tied to somebody else's opinion of us that we don't do it at all. That's not helping people who you're called to serve, you know? So that's something I was going to say, but then also internet trolls, you guys. I was telling one of my clients this the other day because she was really, really hurt about something that happened with this lady who like tracked her down. Like she was on her Instagram and on her YouTube and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? People are gonna be people, and that is why the block button exists. And I do not play with the block button, because at the end of the day, my job is to be kind of the gatekeeper for this community. And if this is my community, don't come in here talking all types of stuff, okay? And if you do that, you'll get blocked. Simple as that. Simple put. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not that difficult. I'm just gonna block you and we'll keep moving, period, okay? And so I say that to say, you guys, that feel free to use that block button. Feel free to use, there's like filters you can put on your comments to say if somebody says this word or that word or whatever, boom, knock it to spam. I will never see it. You know what I mean? So that's just something that you can do to kind of protect yourself, because here's the thing, internet trolls are real, but they're never going away. People are going to be their insecure, petty selves behind the screen, okay? And that's what's going to happen. So with that, you gotta prepare for that and just be aware that what you are doing is not for the trolls. So even though they may be the loudest ones speaking up, it's okay. Block them. Keep moving. We're not gonna focus on them, okay? That's it. Period. Okay? So, yeah. And then also another thing is being afraid of what people are going to actually think about you. That's something where, you know, that's something we got to work through too, because that's really like people bondage. That's really being afraid of what people are going to think so much that you don't move in action, you don't move in your calling. So that, obviously, that's something that we have to overcome, and that's something that just naturally, maybe something that you've dealt with. It's something that I dealt with too, and just little by little, different things that I did, and trying to focus on God and trying to focus on my calling and my passion, and trying to focus on my business and everything else allowed me to try to quiet the noise, quiet the invisible noise of what people were possibly going to think. A lot of times what's keeping us held back is what we think people are going to say when they've never even said it, nor will they ever will. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the opinions of others, you guys, the negative opinions of others, let me say that, doesn't necessarily matter when it comes to what you're doing. And a lot of the times, let me just say this, a lot of the times it's made up in your head what you think they're actually going to say and what the implication is going to be with that. So yeah, that's just something I would say. But I hope this video was helpful. A lot of people struggle with this, and if this is you, comment down below and something that you were going to do in order to start the process of being able to be more vulnerable on camera. I'm actually gonna have a video coming up probably in June sometime. I already have my May schedule listed out, but for June I'm gonna have a video about who is Andrea Denise. And you guys, I filmed this before, but I didn't like my hair, so I'm refilming it. And it's going in depth in who I am and what makes me who I am. And that is gonna be the ultimate level of vulnerability. So I'll let you guys know when that video is coming out. It is gonna be in June sometime. So if you wanna join with me and post your own video about who you are as well to your subscribers and to your audience, that'd be really cool. But comment down below something that was really helpful, the most valuable part of this video. Comment that down below so we can start the conversation too. And then is what could possibly be keeping you from being vulnerable? Is it fear of what people are gonna say? Is it fear of what your family's gonna say? Is it fear of internet trolls and what they're gonna think? Is it just the fact that you've never been vulnerable before and this is a new concept for you? Comment down below and let us know so we can start the conversation. And then of course, come and join my Facebook group if you have not already. It is amazing, and we have these type of conversations all the time, as well as, of course, learn how to build your brand around your business using the power of YouTube. So anyway, you guys, I love you so much. And again, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.